Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. We're also available on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play.
You say SoundCloud?
SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Steve Larson. Everybody needs to get on SoundCloud. Our numbers are not very good there. We get like maybe 500 downloads per episode. I want to boost that up to 1,000. I want all the downloads.
Well, I mean, it's that's fine so long as it's not taking away from another place.
Well, we can have it all. If the people just download SoundCloud and download the thing, they don't have to listen to it. Fake numbers, Larson. That's what I'm after. We're also on the Patreon if you want to support the cause at patreon.com/Steve Larson. We introduced a new reward just starting today. We've been in it. Here's the thing. We want to accommodate everybody in their questions.
To the best of our ability,
To the best of our ability. But the problem is we get a lot these days.
See, what's funny is one of the reasons we started the @RealGoingInRaw Twitter account was to keep all the questions there.
To help you, because you compile the questions.
Yeah. And before we did that, we maybe get, 30 questions a week. Now it's like 30 questions in the 6 hours following either Raw or SmackDown.
And we totally appreciate the corporate word engagement, or whatever you want to call it, your guys' passion. You know, I get so many people live tweeting the shows with me at Real Going In Raw, and it's really awesome, and I try to respond to as many of them as I can. And then at the end of each show, I say, okay, questions, #FQ.
Yeah, and then it's just
get them in, and then it's a morass. It's just a swamp now, which is, I mean, you know, in terms of being a litmus test for the success of the show,
it's great.
It's fantastic. We love every single one of you guys who takes the effort to ask us a question.
Yes.
The problem is there are a lot of them, and we can't do them all. There are a lot that overlap, and so, you know, we sort of made the decision to, you know, we got this Patreon. And we're always looking for ways to reward the people who are literally plunking down money to support the cause. And so if you, at any level, $1 and up at our Patreon at patreon.com/Steve and Larson, those are going to be the priority questions. And then any good questions after that on the Twitters, we'll toss those in as well.
Yeah, because like today, there's 5 pages of questions.
Yeah, it's a lot of questions.
And that literally just went from now until probably about the end of SmackDown last night.
Right, exactly. And so we're just going to ask these things. Like, number one, if you're going to ask a question knowing that it's going on the SmackDown show, you know, the Raw show's already aired, just make them germane to SmackDown. Or in case there's any other news that's outside of the realm. But we're going to kind of stick to the SmackDown questions here on the SmackDown recap and Raw on the Raw.
Yeah, and then try to keep just one question per show.
Right, exactly. And if anybody's already asked the questions, you know, just don't ask it again. You know, because whoever is kind of a first come, first serve thing.
Yeah,
maybe.
The first
it's
one
probably kind of a toss up. It's
really
whatever
is.
you notice
it's
first.
The first one that's noticed.
Exactly. So if we don't answer it, it's not personal.
No.
But if you really, really, really want a good chance of getting your shit answered, $1 a month will get you some priority. If that's a big priority for you, we don't need it. We're fine.
Yeah.
You know, but if that's a thing that you really want, then, you know, patreon.com/Steve Larson. We have other rewards there. You can check out the live feed of the Raw show every week. We might get to the point where we're going to live stream this show and the Dirt Sheet once we're in we have so many like upgrades that we need to do to the show.
Man.
like
our microphones broke.
It's so
one
bad.
of them, it sounds awful.
It's so bad. And the funny thing is, it's not even necessarily a matter of money. It's like, okay, what's going to work best and how do we figure it out? There's so many things to consider.
Well, I mean, like
the way we do things.
This camera we've been using for 5 years.
Yeah. And it's got a burnt pic. We know there's a burnt pixel somewhere over here.
On my shoulder.
But it's like, do I get another DSLR or do we transition to an actual camcorder, which I've been looking at?
Yeah.
It's like a DSLR will be cheaper because we already have lens, but the camera. So it's like, we have to just figure all these things out.
Before we went to New York, your tripod broke, so I had to buy a new tripod in New York.
We ran that tripod into the ground.
And it was one of my carry-ons on the flight back.
Yes, yeah.
I got a new laptop
coming. And the plate went missing for that, so I ordered a new plate.
So, I mean, we're slowly but surely trying to upgrade our stuff so we can actually be more efficient.
Yeah. And I mean, to be more efficient and give you guys more stuff. You know, it's like I want to live stream all the shit that we do. It's just, you know, there's a matter of we also have to get this done.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I noticed a couple people in the comments yesterday was like, I really wish this went up earlier. I'm like, this is as early as we can get it done. You know, it's like we're not really in a position to wait around till after Raw and then drop something because we've already. So I don't know. Look, this entire endeavor is a work in progress. It probably always will be.
Yeah.
But right now, especially, we're sort of at the point where we're doing like a lot of stuff. Yeah. So, anyways, with all that being said, maybe we should. I did want to do this, so because I missed out on it yesterday, thanks to our integration. But because you guys are putting down money, I'm going to give you a shout out. As of last week, we've gotten a lot. Tin Win, Ryan Frank, Daniel Kindler, Rich Lehman, Joaquim Morales or Joaquim Morales, Mark Morrow, Janek Emiolek, Corey Chandler the fourth, Reese Clark, Dakota Denton, Joshua Kavanaugh, Robert Patrick, Andrew from Turnbuckle, Ryan Westerdale, Bronnier Solano Cubero, Chris Schwinghammer, Carlos, Brandon William, Sam Robbins, Nathan Ray, Daniel McKellar, Roger Moore, apparently James Bond himself, Brady Ogden, and Nikki Caputo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I know that's a long list of people, but I really do think that they all deserve like the big shout out there. Okay. Now let's talk some wrestling.
Yeah, only about 7 minutes into the show.
We got to get this shit out of the way. I know. Because it's like a personal thing for a lot of people out there. It's like we've got a really great community.
We do.
You guys blew up our wrestling amino apps. Want to say thanks to them for the sponsorship yesterday.
Yeah.
And everybody seemed to take to it really well. That's what we want to shout out cool shit.
Yeah.
Stuff
that
we'll take money. We'll take money to sponsor some shit if it's cool.
Yeah, if it's interesting to us and we think it's interesting to you guys. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's talk SmackDown.
Okay.
So, apparently, the rumors of Daniel Bryan coming back wrestling are apparently not true.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was going to be the case anyways.
Daniel Bryan sort of laid on Talking Smack. So, as you guys know, last week, and there's good news and bad news here. Last week on Talking Smack, The Miz delivered just a fantastic promo on Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
He was sitting there all uncomfortable because Daniel Bryan had sort of called The Miz out.
Called him a coward.
Said he was soft in the ring. And Miz fired back with full fury saying, I do these things. I wrestle the way I wrestle so that I'm always here. I'm always available. I never get injured.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for the fans so they can see me. He's a professional. And that's one thing about The Miz. He's always been around.
Yeah. And he's always been a pro. It's just, I feel like with The Miz, there's always I don't want to call this, I think there's this thing that's sort of a knock against him, and Dolph Ziggler brought up some of this stuff in a really, really good segment between them last night. Yeah.
But anyways, getting back to Daniel Bryan, we'll talk about that in a second. Getting back to Daniel Bryan, there was thought after that promo, because it went over so well. I don't think they were expecting it to go over as well.
I don't think so either, no.
But anyway, there was a thought that Daniel Bryan might come back and wrestle.
Well, there was, some reports on the dirt sheet saying as much, that the WWE hadn't necessarily closed the door on Daniel Bryan getting back in the ring. I don't recall exactly. I can't source right now. I can look it up.
It was either wrestling. I think I saw it on Wrestling Observer.
Okay, so that's probably what it was then.
So yeah, there was a thought that they're not closing the door on Daniel Bryan coming back to wrestle. Evidently, they wanted that squashed because last night on Talking Smack, Daniel Bryan, he said, well, at the open of the show of SmackDown, there was an interchange between him and Shane McMahon, where Shane said, "Hey, you can't be talking to wrestlers like that. You can't get in their faces. You need to apologize." And Daniel Bryan said, "I agree, but I find it ironic coming from a guy who's talking some shit to Brock Lesnar right now." Shane couldn't really come back with that.
Nope.
So, anyways, fast forward to Talking Smack, and Daniel Bryan basically said, "Look, he said, oh God, it was around here somewhere. I had it. I don't know why I'm looking at Monday Night Raw results from 2015.
That's weird.
Bryan. Here we go. Anyways, he essentially said they, the producers, don't want me and The Miz mixing it up on TV because, the insinuation is they don't want us to give the wrong impression. He said what The Miz said was essentially correct. He said, if I had the guts, I'd go back to the Indies. He said, I wouldn't be wrestling at bingo calls. I'd be wrestling at the Tokyo Dome.
And gave a shout out to AJ Styles. He said, I'd have to talk to AJ Styles about that. Which
That's
means,
funny.
New Japan.
Yeah.
And he said, God, and to see how those guys go.
Oh, yeah.
Like everybody's got a package pile driver.
I know.
Daniel, so he basically said, so they didn't want me anywhere near this. That's why me and The Miz are not going to be seen on TV together. We don't want to give anybody the indication that, that we're doing something that's unsafe for him.
Yeah.
He said, if I had the guts, I'd do it. But I've got a family. You and I both know that, we both know what that's all about. You got a family. All of a sudden you think, okay, well, I need to be around.
You get a lot more risk adverse.
Right, exactly. And so that's what he said. He said, this is over. But, and this was sort of our take on it before we heard of any rumors that, this might lead to a Daniel Bryan return.
Yeah.
Our take was, this might launch The Miz. This was used for The Miz to get into a role that would be taken more seriously.
Yes. We always, after that promo from The Miz last week, always thought it was more so for the benefit of The Miz, not so much to insinuate a match in Daniel Bryan's future.
Right.
I mean, once you start hearing about injuries to the brain, you've got to think, all right, wrestling career's over.
Right, exactly. You don't want to mess with that anymore. I mean, dude, seriously, I try to watch ECW, like just a regular TV show on the network, and I can't. It's so, I can't tell you. Like, we all have these my fondest memories, I think, of ECW are more along the lines of Shane Douglas delivering great promos and RVD flying everywhere. And table spots, because table spots are still relatively safe.
Yeah.
If you're getting something that's breaking your fall.
Yeah.
They can be done right.
Your head's not going through it per se. Yeah.
Exactly.
Whereas the attitude in the locker room during the ECW days was that if you protect yourself during a chair shot.
According to Tommy Dreamer, his words, if you don't get hit in the head, you're a pussy. Those are his words. And when you go back and watch that shit, dude,
I know.
It was headshots everywhere all the time.
Like cranium embedded in the chair.
It's horrible. It's horrible. You can't, because now we know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm fine with Daniel Bryan not wrestling again. It's like I'm very quickly back when this whole SmackDown general manager role of his started, me personally, I just felt, God, what a bummer he's not wrestling. It's like, that wasn't me thinking, I want him to wrestle. It was just, I see him, I hear his music, and I remember how great he was in the ring and how hard he went.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, and so to begin the show after the credits roll last night on SmackDown, Miz comes down, noticeably absent was his sort of gimmicky Hollywood getup.
He was just in a suit.
No sunglasses, no the weird long dress thing that he kind of wore, whatever that was.
Even Maurice was dressed differently.
Right, exactly. He was wearing just a really cool looking black suit, a proper black suit. And he comes down looking like he has a sense of urgency. Now, this is the thing about The Miz, is that...
Did you also notice that he came out before his music hit?
Oh, I didn't really notice that. Okay.
Speaking of the sense of urgency.
Okay. So he comes down, and interestingly enough, he got sort of a mixed reaction. He didn't get overwhelmingly cheered, and he got the boos, and he got some cheers.
The more he talked, the more boos he got.
Right, because he was dropping what felt like a heel promo, but the things he was saying, I liked the fact that I keep on using this phrase, a sense of urgency, and I think that's the one thing that's always been noticeably lacking in his career for the most part.
Yeah.
There has been sort of, and I think, Dolph Ziggler came down after The Miz talked some shit and basically said what a lot of people think. He said, you do go soft. And Miz's point when he came out and dropped his promo was, I don't like to get hit because I like to win.
Yeah.
And why would I want to get hit? Why would I put my body at risk
when
I want to pick up the win?
Yeah.
And that's diametrically opposed to a lot of fans who want to see heart in the ring and want to see people put their bodies on the line to a degree.
Yeah.
Like Dolph Ziggler has often done, is well known for doing.
Yeah.
And
you're going to say when Dolph comes out and says Miz is more concerned with being famous than being a wrestler.
Right, exactly. And that's been the big knock on him. It's funny, when we did that little interview segment with him, he said, I bet you call me, what do you call me, a douchebag, don't you? And And I said, I've had my criticisms of you, but lately, I think lately he's been doing a really good job.
Yeah, he has.
And this week he's sort of proven that out, like to the ultimate degree. It's like, you know what? I want to see a sense of urgency. I want to see that you care, not that you're this arrogant character who says really a lot, who's just sarcastic, because it feels like cruise control.
Yeah.
My overarching point here is I'm hoping that this is going to lead. Look, The Miz is never going to be the king of strong style.
No.
All right? He's never going to be a Daniel Bryan type competitor.
No.
But I'm hoping that this will lead to more of an intense style in the ring. He starts going stronger. He starts going harder. His promos are more serious. That's the only way that you're going to take him seriously if he is to go to the next level, because Miz probably has plenty of years left on his body. Where does he go?
What did I tell you last night when I started the show? I said the way Miz has been performing the last 2 weeks, he finally feels like a legitimate main eventer.
Right, exactly.
Finally does.
Right. And in the same manner and that was sort of my point with the draft. It was, okay, they drafted The Miz, and I think we even put him on one of our worst draft picks because of his history. But he's the guy who's been around long enough, who knows the ring well enough, who knows the crowd well enough, that he could take it to the next level if the combination of what creative gives him and what he brings to the table mesh and take him there.
And I hope, going back to your thoughts about him changing his in-ring style a bit, I hope he does. I hope he finds either a new finisher or takes one of his previous moves and adapts it to be his new finisher.
I wonder if this match with him and Dolph at Backlash will change a lot of hearts and minds out there. Because, dude, it takes one match. It takes one match.
Yeah.
It takes one time. And I'm not a big proponent of blading, but it can be very effective.
Yeah. As a storytelling tool,
It can be, blood can be very effective. I mean, we saw it with Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
So one brutal, strong-ish match, and Dolph can carry matches like nobody else. He can really carry.
But he's not
matches.
necessarily one to work strong either. Dolph. He could sell.
Puts his body on the line.
He could sell. I mean, if you want the Miz's...
He sells, he doesn't necessarily work stiff.
Yeah, if you want to sell the Miz's toughness, Dolph isn't necessarily the guy to put in the ring with him. If you want to show the Miz's newfound toughness, then I understand that.
I do love that it's Colonel Sanders and the chicken.
I know.
They have, and the Miz referenced that.
I know.
You have to sort of appreciate this. I'm sorry. This ain't no ad for KFC, but that spot they do when they're in the ring and the crowd is so completely dead and confused, and that much is obvious when you look at them.
I know.
It's hilarious.
It's funny.
It's so fucking funny. And as goofy as the Miz looks, Dolph looks a million times goofier in that Colonel Sanders makeup and wig.
When I first saw it, before he took his shirt off, I thought it was Will Forte.
I know. Because it sounds kind of like him. I know.
Yeah.
I know. It was great. I love that. That was hilarious. But I like this. I mean, dude, look, it's SmackDown. They're not deep on talent, so you have to use your talent to the best of your ability.
Yes.
And going in this direction with The Miz is great.
That's what I like about SmackDowns. They're not afraid to reinvent.
Yeah.
Seemingly.
Yes. Yeah.
They seem to be doing that quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have to. It's like I said, you don't have a lot of talent depth. You have to, and I want to see. We can pivot into Apollo Crews. I want to see what they're going to do with Apollo Crews.
Yeah. They actually seemed last night to give them the start of something.
They don't have anything to work with, and so they're giving him the one thing, and that's what's so sad about that. But you're right, they did give him something. Where are your notes? I'm just on Daniel Bryan right now. Okay, so we had all that go down. So match confirmed, IC title, Backlash, Dolph versus Miz. We're hoping for big things for that. Hopefully they'll steal the show.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We had the hype bro, Zack Ryder, and his imaginary friend Mojo Rawley
take on the Vaudevillains.
The Vaudevillains.
Part of the SmackDown Tag Team Championship tournament.
That's right.
And the hype bro went over.
Zack Ryder went over. It was weird. All sorts of weird spots where the Vaudevillains would either just be floating or they'd be selling to thin air.
Especially the finish when one of the Vaudevillains was floating and then Zack Ryder did the Rough Rider on him.
You know what's sad about this whole angle that I've got going with Mojo Rawley is that there are so many funny things to say about him. Look, I love his energy. I love his enthusiasm. But there are so many goofy things about Mojo Rawley that are just hilarious. But I have to stick to my story that he's merely an imaginary friend. He is the Tyler Durden, the well-meaning Tyler Durden to Zack Ryder's narrator, Edward Norton.
Yeah.
And people keep on tweeting.
I know, it's funny.
And it never gets old. Never gets old. All right, so AJ Styles, Bomber Tenenbaum was backstage. He's got that great...
You can tell AJ is having tons of fun.
He's having so much... He's probably like, fuck, my buddies aren't here, so I'm just going to be funny. I'm just going to be goofy with it. He owns everything, dude.
Yeah.
Best fucking wrestler, man. God, he owns everything. Anyways, he's got the John Cena armband or headband around his head. Yeah. Looking all... was it Richie Tenenbaum?
Yeah.
The Bomber was Richie, right?
Yeah. He needs that beard to grow in a bit more, but then, yeah.
Is that your favorite Wes Anderson movie?
I still like Rushmore.
Really?
I think so.
That's like on my lower third.
I know, you never liked Rushmore.
That's like barely above... Oh, what was that last one that came out? It's
Moonrise Kingdom?
Yeah.
I don't like that one either. The one he did after that, shoot, name is escaping me. The one with Ralph Fiennes was really good. Oh, the Grand Budapest Hotel. That one's really good.
Was that after Moonrise Kingdom?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
That was really good.
Yeah, Ralph Fiennes was good in that.
Yeah.
Anyways, Richie Tenenbaum is backstage. Nobody fucking... How many people out there know what the fuck I'm talking about with the Wes Anderson movies? I imagine some of them.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, Bomber was back there, and he's telling everybody he's the new face that runs the place.
Didn't he go up to Apollo Crews and ask him what his name was?
I think so. It led into some because, Daniel Bryan made a slip of the tongue a couple of weeks back where he called him Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
And so they referenced that. And yes, that little morsel. To me, I mentioned this on Twitter at Really Going In Raw. How sad is it that the only thing he has to work with is that slip of the tongue from a couple weeks ago? And I'm not saying, he's not going to be able to do anything with it. I'm saying it's sad that his character, somebody even asked me, what do you do with Apollo Crews? Like, what gimmick would you give him? I don't know, because gimmicks work best off of personality.
If this is the tack they're going to take, where he feels like he's slighted because people apparently, or at least Daniel Bryan doesn't know, or AJ Styles in this case doesn't know who he is, that gives him a reason to go out there and prove himself.
It's the seed of something.
Yeah, and you mentioned this even back when he was at NXT. Give him a little bit of an edge that he knows he's the best wrestler out there, and just to kind of be arrogant about it.
Right.
And to combine that with a chip on his shoulder because he's not getting the recognition he thinks he deserves, that's something to work with.
Right.
That's a character.
Right.
So hopefully they can run with it.
I hope they do. They have a lot. They have. All he needs is a decent promo once a week and then a good match. Have him go out there and just have him show everybody that he's the best. Here you go. Here's what you do with Apollo Crews. He's the best. He knows it. Nobody understands it. Nobody respects him.
Yeah.
Because he gets overlooked all the time.
Yeah.
Have him put on 8 weeks of amazing matches against various competitors. And at some point, you're going to need a new number one contender for the IC title. Let's say Miz is blowing it up and he's doing great. And Apollo Crews has been having great matches. Apollo Crews needs to make a statement. So he comes out and he says, I've been overlooked as a number one contender for this.
In the past, too, yeah.
In the past as well.
Yeah.
You overlooked me. He lost the match to The Miz, so I don't know how you reconcile that one.
Well, if you give him...
It's kind of a bad idea.
If you give him 2 months to kind of prove himself to the people in the SmackDown locker room and also to people watching on TV, that's a long enough time to kind of erase the memory of the SummerSlam match.
Dude, this is the thing. It has to be the kind of thing where the people in the crowd and the people at home are understanding it, but they're not acknowledging it on TV. That always works the best. When I feel like I'm in on something, and you feel like you're in on something, but they're not giving their due on TV.
Yeah.
There's your character.
Yeah.
There's your guy who knows that he has a crowd. Kind of the Cesaro thing.
Yeah.
Everybody else knows, but give him some. The WWE can also limit somebody's in-ring stuff.
Yeah.
They can say don't do certain moves.
Yeah.
Let Apollo Crews do some moves in the ring that A, nobody else is allowed to do, and B, are really cool.
Yeah.
And C, maybe even a little bit risky.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, don't put any necks at risk.
Yeah.
But do some cool shit. Let him do some things that other people can't.
Because
at least he has that.
Granted, this move that he did last night wasn't necessarily anything risky or that no one else does.
But
it
cool
did
backflip off the rope.
Well, but he caught AJ when AJ was jumping off the middle rope. And I thought he was just going to body slam him. And he threw him over his shoulder. It looked like he was going to just throw him out of the ring practically. Caught him, Samoa drop.
Yeah.
Do more stuff like that.
And then maybe, in contrast to that, for storyline reasons, limit some of the other things other guys are doing, either when they're in there with him or at the same mid-card level as him.
Yeah.
And then he'll stand out physically in the ring. And that's enough of a jumping point if you don't acknowledge that on TV, that he's putting on these best men, and then have JBL and Otunga, terrible, have them acknowledge it. He's putting on the best matches and nobody's paying attention to this kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a starting point for
Yeah.
you, and he doesn't have to challenge for the IC title, but you can have him start mixing it up more realistically with guys. Because, going into last night, did you think there was any chance he was going to win against AJ?
No.
No, of course not. Get him to the point where, ooh, this guy might steal one from AJ.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
When Otunga says, if he beats AJ here, how can you not put him in the title picture? Well, because it'd be a fluke victory because AJ has a history. He just beat John Cena, and one fluke victory does not make a man. You know what I mean? So you can't just say it. You have to have continuous weeks of victories, impressive victories.
Yeah.
We know he can move in the ring.
They keep trying to sell his athleticism by saying, wow, this guy's really athletic.
Yeah.
This guy is a super athlete.
Yeah.
Just let him go out there and exhibit his skills.
Let's see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neville is a prime example of a guy who I don't really need character because, I think he has it. When he talks, when he does talk, it's like, oh, this guy's got some backstory. I kind of get him a little bit.
Yeah.
But he also knows he's the best guy in the ring on any given night. He is the man that gravity forgot. That's a great gimmick. He's the guy who's going to be flying around you, so you better be on your toes. Give Apollo Crews something similar to that.
But also Neville, they'll speak to his athleticism, but they don't. They let his athleticism speak for itself as opposed to trying to get him over talking about it. It's the old adage in filmmaking is show don't tell.
Right. When Neville took on Jericho on Raw, you always think Neville could pull this off.
Yeah, all of his matches.
Neville could. This could be the time that he pull him off. If Apollo Crews is there in 6 months, it's a success.
Yeah.
If he's at that same point in 6 months, it's a success. Because I think he's starting way further back, but it's SmackDown, less talent, more opportunities.
Yes.
So that's Apollo Crews. Let's see here. Okay, man. We got some talking to do about this Heath Slater situation. Okay, so
let's talk about the good first.
Let's talk about what happened. Renee Young visited Heath Slater's trailer at the trailer park.
His trailer.
He was there with his girthy wife, Beulah. Okay, little chunk. It's okay.
Rhino was
there, just deadpan it the whole time.
Yeah.
Didn't say a word. Was eating easy cheese and crackers.
Yeah. Making little designs on the crackers before.
Now they didn't go too hard on the stereotypes that they could have gone.
Yeah.
The trailer could have looked a lot trashier. They could have shown the kids and they could have looked really dirty.
Yeah, I know.
Let's go. Let's start with the good. Let's start with the positive.
The chemistry.
We'll start with the positive, go to the negative, and then we'll talk about, is this the right direction for Heath Slater?
Positives. Kind of the general chemistry between Heath, Rhino, and Renee Young was all pretty good.
Biggest positive for me, you're right, that is a positive. Biggest positive for me was Heath Slater's comedic chops. His deadpan, his delivery, this dude knows comic timing, which is going to factor into, is this good or bad for him down the line, in my opinion. His comedic delivery is impeccable.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's no longer him in the ring shouting, being obnoxious. He's shown us that he can do understated deadpan really, really well.
Yeah.
Rhino, for whatever reason, chemistry works with these two guys.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
I've never seen Rhino as like a chemistry guy with somebody else, but he so is with Heath Slater in this role. Maybe it's because he's older and just older guys, you got more experience, more natural chemistry.
That's part of it. Yeah, I'm sure that is part of it.
You know what I always said about Eddie Guerrero, or what I realized watching Eddie Guerrero last time I saw him? He is Seth Rollins with about 10, 15 years of life experience. Because he's great in the ring. He's got that same attitude of Seth Rollins, but he's got that 15 years of kids and a wife and Vicky Guerrero just screaming at him and paying taxes and a mortgage and being on the road with Chris Benoit. That's Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
That's why he was so great, because he was Uncle Eddie to everybody.
Yeah.
And when Seth has 15 more years of life experience and he's not going around getting dick pics leaked because he's fucking around on his fiance, that's going to be Seth Rollins. If he makes it that long and he doesn't jack himself up too much, he's going to be Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
So anyways, look, we're old. We know these things. Rhino has this chemistry with Heath Slater.
And it's fantastic.
And it's great. Renee Young's interactions were great.
Mm-hmm. Her reactions to the general going-ons were great.
The cons. This segment felt so dated. This was an Attitude Era cheesy segment that I thought we were long past, but it's SmackDown, and you never know what you're going to get on SmackDown.
SmackDown generally takes a goofier tact.
Yeah.
And I think that was, and I guess, pretty much the primary con is, as you said, it felt like a very dated segment.
Right. And part of that, honestly, I thought they could have been much more effective with the Beulah character if they didn't do the kind of, I mean, look, you see he's got a chunky girlfriend or wife or whatever, and that's automatically supposed to be funny, which in this day and age is just dated. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, he's got a fat wife. That's dated. I personally don't think that's funny.
No.
I thought there were a million other ways, and she adores him. I thought it'd be much funnier if Beulah, his wife, is the one calling the shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If she's the one if she wears the pants in the family.
Like she's the one that ordered the above ground pool.
Exactly.
And now it's his responsibility to pay for it.
Exactly. I'm trying to think, okay, a good example, they could be sort of a more understated version of Ralph Cramden and his wife. You know what I mean? Like, she wore the pants. She bullied him around. And granted, he threatened to punch her, which was dated for the time. You know, you can't do that now. You can't be shaking your fist at a woman anymore and saying to the moon. But they could be a variation on that. It's always funnier when the guy's a jackass and the female is and the wife is the one who's
the boss.
The boss, rolling her eyes. That's comedy 101 right there. So, and the line that did crack me up, though, is when Renee Young was like, "Are your kids at school?" No. They're in the back picking up bottles.
Bottles and cans.
Bottles and cans. That shit was funny. Now, we got the cons out of the way. The burping part was gross.
Yeah,
that really grossed me out. Because then Renee Young's all smelling it. It was just gross. Anyways.
Again, dated.
And very dated.
Very dated.
It's like Adam Sandler 1998 kind of humor. Or even worse, Adam Sandler 2016 kind of humor. The direction of Heath Slater, there was a big fat fork in the road.
Yes.
When he got annihilated by Lesnar, that was some of the best Heath Slater work I've ever seen when he dropped that promo about, I got kids to feed, man. I got kids to feed. And then Lesnar said, I don't give a shit about your kids. I'd eat them right now if I could. They could have gone with the hard-working man trying to feed his family angle on a serious route. Or they could have gone this comedic route, which is obviously where they went. And there's no gray area here.
No.
You know, they could have gone this way, and they went this way, this way. I think that because of Heath Slater, look, there's always room for comedy in wrestling.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
And with his comedic chops, I think this is probably the best way to go, because I'm not sure how far you can take a dramatic Heath Slater off the bat. If he continues to play up this sort of understated, dry humor, deadpan stuff, because he was all dry. It was the burping, big woman behind him that was the goofy stuff.
Yeah.
If you continue along the lines of him being, I mean, I don't know how many times you can go out to the trailer park and do this. I would assume this is a one-off thing.
Yeah, I would think so too.
To sort of establish where his character is going to be. I'm okay with the comedic shit because he's really good at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's your take? Is this a good way or should you go serious?
If they were going to go serious, it would seem like the Lesnar altercation kind of would have been the climax.
Right.
To an extent.
That's kind of as far as you can go with it. Because even the Randy Orton thing the following week didn't feel as powerful as that.
Yeah. I mean, like, well, you're going to put Slater in a situation where he has to win the WWE title to get a contract. No one's going to buy that.
Right, exactly.
So I guess you kind of have to go down this comedic road.
And he's good at it, so it works for him.
But you kind of worry, though, that if he gets cast as a comedic performer, is that just going to be his thing? And is he going to be stuck there? And is there going to be is the ceiling
there's definitely
lower because he is strictly a comedic wrestler at this point?
Yeah, I mean the goal for Heath Slater at this point, I mean obviously storyline is get a contract. We know he's going to get that. But the goal in terms of his career, I think, is just, hey, you can keep along this path and stay in the company and move your way up to maybe the IC title scene. But maybe. I know. But he can, you can take people take Zack Ryder wins, in the singles scene seriously.
Yeah.
And he started off as kind of that goofier, the Long Island Ice Z stuff.
Yeah.
Which got him over.
Yeah.
Heath Slater seems like a smart guy. You got to be smart to have those kind of comedic chops.
Yeah.
He's been around now for a little while.
That is true.
It's not out of the question. I mean, it would probably be a lot easier to say, well, if SmackDown brought out the TV title, that he can compete.
I mean, I could see him as a believable tag champion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I could see that, whether he's going to win or not. And let's skip ahead to the match they had tonight against the Headbangers.
The returning Headbangers.
Because I wonder if this is going to be the dynamic for Slater and Rhino, where Slater, by and large, kind of gets beat up, and then Rhino comes in to make the save and gets the win.
Sort of a poor man's Enzo and Cass type thing.
Yeah,
I got you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how far they can go as a tag team,
especially since we don't know how long Rhino's gonna be on the roster with his political career taking off.
Yeah, we have a video question that's going to ask us to predict how that's going to play out, so we'll wait till then to answer if we think Heath Slater's going to win that contract along with the tag belts. Let's see here. Bray Wyatt dropped a promo on Randy Orton. Randy Orton responded.
Yeah, Bray's promo was pretty typical Bray. Mm-hmm. I thought Orton's response was very good.
Yeah, me too. I think Orton seems into it.
Are you starting to come around on him a little bit?
Because it's SmackDown. Yeah, I am. Because it's SmackDown and there's the talent level isn't really there in terms of the depth. I like this. I have a hard time being emotionally invested in it because I know that Orton's going to pick up the win against Bray and then they're both going to part ways.
It would be great if they would just let him do
be awesome.
Extended
like a
4-month program where they trade wins.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think
and if Bray really got in Randy's head a little bit.
I'm hoping that this is going to build an intensity. I want to see intensity. And I know Orton still has the gaping head wound. And so maybe he can't really do intense right now. Then he has to face Brock again in like September or something.
Yeah, I know. I think I agree with that. That's the last thing I want is just to kind of simmer for a couple months.
I know. And
kind of doing the same
Bray,
thing.
They just let him simmer too much. I like when Bray is fierce, when Bray's attacking people, when he's doling out Sister Abigail's left and right.
I know. I agree.
So I have a really hard time getting into this, but I'm open to being into Orton. I'm open to it. I've always respected the shit out of Randy Orton's professionalism. Mm-hmm. I find him as a character to be fairly one-dimensional, and that's always been my problem with him. But the fact that I think the fact that his behind-the-scenes career over the past couple of years seemingly is very professional.
Yeah.
The fact that he shows up thinking one thing about Brock Lesnar and then finding out that he has to be opened up due to a fucking elbow to the head, and he does it like a fucking champ. I mean, that speaks volumes.
And then goes backstage and settles down Jericho, who's obviously upset about it.
That speaks volumes about the guy, So it's like I can't not like that. But I find his best case, this Wyatt thing ends up adding dimension to his character, which Bray Wyatt should do with everybody he's into because he plays the mind games and he does all that shit. You should be changed.
Yeah.
I've said this for years. You should be changed regardless win or loss. You should be changed after being involved with Bray Wyatt.
Yes.
We had a tag match in the women's division. Naomi with the best entrance ever.
Fantastic.
And Becky Lynch, who has gone, maybe, I'm telling you, they listened to us. They're listening to us, Larson.
Oh, that she went back to her old ring gear.
I love it. She looks so cute in it. She looks more athletic in it. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be saying she looks cute. That's very condescending.
No, I know what you're saying.
Very attractive lady, though. I love her orange hair. She looks great. She looks like $1 million. I want her to see. But does the blue and orange are contrasting colors? I think that might look good. Maybe, I don't know.
They're complementary colors. They're across from each other on the color wheel.
Across. What are they when they're next to each other?
Shoot.
I thought that's complementary.
No, I think because so what's the term then for when they're across? Because in Michael Bay movies they always say he uses teal and orange because of they bring out the vibrancy of the other color.
Right.
And so it's pleasing to the eye.
I would think complementary I think that's you're probably right. I just think
been
contrast because they're on contrasting.
They're on opposite
but you're
sides of
right.
the
It's
color
not.
wheel,
I know. I don't think it's contrast. I think you're right. Complementary. There's complementary, and then there's something else. And
I can't remember what the other thing is. It's been. I mean, that was what junior high art class. I learned that stuff.
Becky looks great. And then they took on the team of Alexa Bliss and Natalya.
Nikki was on commentary.
And then Carmella attacked from behind, just laid into her. I like Carmella now as a heel.
Yeah, I do too.
Loving it.
Alexa picked up the win over Becky with a roll-up and a handful of tights.
Yep, it's good. Ambrose in the main event took on my man, the returning Baron Corbin, back in the main event where I think he belongs.
Back.
Yeah.
This is really his first appearance in the main event.
No, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
I have a question for you.
No,
it wasn't. I know last week Ambrose had a promo.
Oh, great! They should transition Eva Marie's voiceover to Baron Corbin.
See, then maybe I get into
all gray everything, stylish,
all alone everything,
doughy, all alone everything.
End of Daisy. I feel like they're underutilizing Ambrose. Like, he wasn't on the show until his match.
Yeah, I know.
Last week he had a promo.
Let me ask you something. You sitting on your laurels? I need to see more fire.
That's exactly what I thought of.
I think he is. Yeah, I know. It's weird. Okay, here it is, though.
He's your champ. How come he's not opening the show on a regular basis? I'm not saying every week, but on a regular basis.
When he was on Stone Cold Podcast, he said that he had a liking to the old NWA champs, like Funk, like Briscoe, who would just show up and everybody knew they were badass, and he didn't have to cater to the crowd. He just showed up, proved why he was badass.
I don't think Ambrose is at that point yet, though.
I think he wants to be, and I think that's what he's trying to do. I mean, look, if that's his decision, if he gets to decide not to show up, I don't think he does.
But I think if they allowed him to do some of the things I'm sure he would like to do, then maybe he would be to that point.
Yeah.
But based on the style that he has to wrestle, I don't think he is to that point.
I think you're right. I mean, last week we saw him do that goofy. You're right. They're not really.
There's no intensity to him, really.
You know what's weird, dude? Is that, okay, look at the Intercontinental title scene leading up to SummerSlam. You had The Miz doing a lot, and you barely saw Apollo Crews.
Yeah.
Now we're at the world title scene. You see AJ doing a lot, and the champion not doing much of anything.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. That just seems to be thematic with the SmackDown writers.
But even going back to when...
not a whole lot of back and forth with their feuds.
Reigns was vying for the championship.
Where's Kalisto last night?
He wasn't on the show. But I was going back to when Reigns was vying for the title, and he was a background player.
That's right. He was a major background. But maybe whoever was writing SmackDown was writing that then.
Could be.
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's weird.
It is weird. Anyways, AJ was on commentary. Before that, we had Gary the Milkman Millman, who was apparently a local jobber, who I loved. I thought it was great. They're giving Kane the Braun Strowman treatment now. Apparently, he made his big return. Annihilated this poor fella
who undressed himself to his tighty-whities.
Which is weird. It's like, if you know you're coming out to fight.
No, he said he was approved. He was licensed to participate in the show.
He said he was licensed to.
So did he just get his license, like, when he got to the arena?
Whoever's writing that is hilarious.
But you'd also think that if he knew that there's a possibility he could wrestle, he would come with his gear.
But he's just licensed to participate.
Maybe that is his wrestling gear.
Well, they seem like very they seem brand new for one thing.
Yeah.
They weren't like, yellowed.
No.
Or Hershey'd.
No.
So, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot left to be answered. Is he actually a milkman? I don't get it.
I don't understand it either.
We have to do some more research on Gary Millman. Let's answer some. AJ was on commentary. BRYAN went over by DQ because AJ interfered. So BRYAN, technically, in my opinion, should be next in line for the world title.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
World title.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, okay. Questions.
Jefferson. Pitch a buddy cop movie with Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho as partners. The villain is Seth Rollins. Reigns is a goofy undercover detective. Jesse Ventura is the grumpy captain. Jefferson just really wants Ventura to yell at Reigns and Roman to retort with, "Put that beef away."
I feel like Jefferson did just pitch that movie. He
pretty much
he gave us everything there.
That's it.
Reigns, you're off the beat. Wait, is Reigns is a cop?
The goofy undercover detective.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah.
It's always like,
Reigns, guess what?
It's like, put that beef away, Jesse.
Reigns, did you put this goat? Did you put this goat in my office? Are you trying to say something to me, Reigns? Are you and your antics?
What's his smirk? His Roman smirk.
I just want to eat my burger in peace. Put that beef away, Chief.
There you go. Done. Patrick Sparks, do you think Becky as women's champion versus Alexa Bliss would be a money feud as much as Kid Corbin does?
Pat here.
I do. They seem to be pairing off.
Yeah, a little bit.
So it seems like Becky and Alexa are going to be in a feud after this six-pack challenge.
I like Alexa, man.
Yeah.
She plays heel good.
Yeah.
She really does. And she's
last
a decent wrestler,
Last
too.
night when Becky came out, did you notice that she was covering her ears?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was funny.
Because of the
volume, I guess.
Jesus. Well, dude, we were there in the little luxury suite there at SummerSlam. You can even see in our SummerSlam vlog when I'm walking to get my merchandise during the Brock Lesnar thing and his pyro goes off. I'm legit like, whoa, what the fuck?
Well,
dude, seriously, this is just sad in the time we live in. When we first got up to the luxury suite, we were talking to Craig, right? And during mid-conversation, somebody came. I think the Dudleys came
Dudley's
out,
pyro. To put them in,
and their pyro went off for just the tiniest fraction of a millisecond. I thought something exploded that shouldn't have. I thought something bad was happening. Just turned out to be the Dudley Boys. But I didn't realize how close we were to the fucking pyro.
Yeah, and how loud it was.
God damn it, that's some loud shit.
Because I guess the last wrestling show we were at was WrestleMania, and it's not as loud because it's outside.
Yeah.
And before that was just a Raw, and I don't think the Dudleys weren't on that show.
Right, exactly.
Yes, that'd be a money feud. Alexa Bliss.
Oh, for sure. I love Alexa Bliss. She's great.
Weatherstein. SmackDown is obviously trying to bring in wrestlers of WWE's past to help with the lackluster roster. Who are some attitude/ruthless aggression era talent that you guys think can actually hang with the new talent?
Well, I mean, Shelton was the guy that we thought was going to be
number one choice.
Yeah, that was our number one guy. I still say Carlito.
Yeah.
He still looks great. I mean, that's kind of what matters. He's still got to look good. RVD was offered money, man. He said, not today.
Yeah.
RVD could probably still go.
Oh, yeah.
He keeps himself in amazing shape. That's what I got for you. I got RVD.
John Morrison.
Oh, man, that'd be great.
Chris Schwinghammer. If Shelton Benjamin had not gotten injured, where do you think he would have fit into current booking?
Rumor has it he was there specifically to mix it up or manage American Alpha. And there was also a rumor that Charlie Haas was originally supposed to come in and square off. World's greatest tag team?
Yeah.
Versus American Alpha.
Sam Robbins. How do you think they're going to work having Carmella as a heel when she's associated with one of the top face acts, Enzo and Cass? Are they just going to continue to distance her from the realest guys in the room, seeing as they put her on SmackDown Live?
I think the only thing I can think of is when they do the cross-brand thing, they might make reference to it in the same manner they did Balor in the club. Maybe she's going to be, I don't know. They might say, hey, what's going on? And she'll say something dickish to them.
Yeah. Carlos, do you think WWE will turn Carmella into the next AJ Lee? AJ Lee was
a damn good wrestler.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Carmella's quite there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. AJ Lee was kind of a once-in-a-generation type wrestler.
Hawk Wasp 94. If a Johnny Mundo return were to happen, where would you like him to end up, and who would you feud him with?
I'd like him on SmackDown because right now SmackDown needs talent, and I would die to see a Johnny Mundo AJ Styles run. That would be fantastic.
Yes.
All that jumping around.
Be great.
Yeah.
James Garcia. Who do you believe should join SmackDown if they were to do trades when they have fall call-ups with the looks that Raw is more likely to have the likes of Nakamura and Joe join Raw?
Hey, this kind of reminds me though. That SmackDown set looks the new sets look really, really good.
Yeah, it looks great.
And that actually, to me, last night I was like, man, SmackDown looks legit. Like it's the first time that I really.
They get rid of the crane, then they'll look legitimate. It's the crane that kills it all.
I would die if Nakamura ended up on SmackDown though, because to me, the way you put it last time rang so true to me. Raw is the show that we must see. It's still the must-see show, and SmackDown's kind of the fun, goofy show.
Yeah.
I think Samoa Joe would add a lot of much-needed weight to SmackDown, but there are too many guys on Raw that I want to see Shinsuke Nakamura and mix it up with.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that they already had their match means Joe can go to SmackDown, Nakamura can go to Raw, and Nakamura can take that streak away from Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Fwab T. Who do you think will be the face of the Cruiserweight division?
Kota Ibushi. Possibly Neville. If they're going to go that route.
Johnny Gargano.
You think Johnny Wrestling?
Cloves Denters.
Great name.
How would you book Roman Reigns being deleted by James Ellsworth?
Well, James Ellsworth would have to go through an incident.
He'd have to be broken.
He'd have to be broken, and the 7 entities or deities will have to imbue him with the power of, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of Broken Matt Hardy shit. Do you see Broken Jeff Hardy? He looks a mess.
Yeah.
Next question.
Thomas Surson. Do you think we'll ever see another SummerSlam/WrestleMania outside of the U.S.?
Sure.
Hopefully. Well, you'll probably see one in Canada.
SummerSlam prior. SummerSlam? In Canada? Oh, for sure. Canada, yeah. Outside of North America? When's London getting their Mania, man?
Good point.
That's tough. That's so tough logistically. If it aired at 4 o'clock here, it's midnight there. If it aired noon here, it can air at 8 there.
Yeah.
Which 8 to midnight over there is acceptable. 8 to midnight and noon out here, they'd have to make a huge marketing push.
Yes.
A huge marketing push.
They did it in 92 with SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Rich Lehman. At some point, Lesnar is going to have to put someone over. Who do you think it will be, and will it be terrible? If it's Shinsuke, it'll be great. If it's Kevin Owens, it would be great.
Yeah.
If they book it right, Bray Wyatt would be good.
Bray, I think, is probably never going to happen. I could see. Honestly, I think your prediction of Nakamura, he's going to be the guy. It's going to be great, dude.
You're going to be.
Oh my! You're going to see
aroused.
me fucking explode.
You're going to be aroused.
I'm going to at least aroused.
It's going to be something else. I don't want to be in the room with you when that happens because you might.
Oh, I'll be delivering Kinshasas to everybody. Kinshasas.
I want to see Shinsuke win. I want to see him defeat Lesnar too. But you're going to go ape shit when it happens.
It's gonna be mesmerizing. No merch table for me that day.
Tyler, who's going to be Lesnar's opponent at Survivor Series? Would love to see Nakamura, but that feels too soon and should be a slow build to Mania.
Yeah, Nakamura should be like at 34, 35.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I wanted to be a while.
Lesnar probably won't be at Survivor Series.
Survivor Series is like sub Money in the Bank now. I think Money in the Bank is like the 4th big one.
I agree.
I don't think it's Survivor Series anymore.
Fwab T, according to some of the dirt sheets, Lesnar will be in the title picture, and since Owens is champ right now, do you see them giving the clean pin a massive push if this does happen?
I'd be really surprised if Lesnar's in that title picture.
Yeah. James Rodriguez, if AJ wins the
World title
soon, do you think Cena will take it off him when he returns?
I kind of do.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
I think that's the whole point of this entire thing right now.
Probably.
The long con.
Eager34, since Sting is rumored to have one more match.
Oh, no, he's not.
Who should he face that isn't The Undertaker?
You should watch the JBL Legends with him. It's really good. But he doesn't really say anything that's all that new. He gives some really good anecdotes. But he is...
Done?
He's done. I mean, he seemed very... I think all wrestlers are like this, though. He seems very hesitant to just put that final...
Well, he kind of pretty much did at his Hall of Fame.
He did. He said, I'm retired as of tonight.
Yeah.
You know? Because he says, I feel great. This was the thing. I forgot. This was the thing. He hasn't gotten surgery for it yet. Mm-hmm. He says he's gotten so many opinions on it, but the prevailing one is if you feel fine, don't do it. If he has the surgery, he says his career for sure is done.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. If he doesn't get the surgery, he could still have one final match. He's leaning towards not having the surgery, which could mean he has one final match, but I don't know.
Wait, so if he doesn't have the surgery and it feels good, don't do it? Oh, right. Don't do the surgery.
Don't do the surgery.
I thought you meant don't wrestle.
No, don't do the surgery.
Okay.
I would say don't wrestle anyway, Sting.
Yeah.
You don't need it. Your legacy is cemented.
I know.
It's cemented.
You don't need to have a match against Undertaker just to lose at WrestleMania. You already had your WrestleMania match.
And it was great.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. I don't care that Triple H won. It kind of didn't make sense for Sting to win anyways because Triple H...
Well, based on the story, yeah.
Exactly.
No, but it'd been nice to see Sting...
It would have been nice. It would have been great.
To pick up a win at WrestleMania.
It would have been so great. That's one thing they talked about on the table for three with the Click was if X-Pac was bitching because he was like, yeah, you guys got to saunter down to your music. And Nash said, yeah, as soon as I hit the ropes, it's downhill from there. I love that he's so self-aware.
I know. Eric Hobson, was it me or did the Bray Orton segment end weird suddenly? Was that a directing error or a performer error? It just kind of ended.
I didn't notice it. I did notice that during that entire time that Randy was talking, that fucking obvious as day guy in the front row for some reason was so perfectly in focus. And he just stood out. It was weird. He was a weird looking dude. Not a weird looking dude. He was just a dude who didn't look like he belonged there.
Yeah.
I feel like in that shot, there should have been 5 wrestling fans as opposed to 1 real estate agent. That's what it looked like. It looked like there was just a real estate agent sitting there staring at Randy Orton. And then he would check his phone. And I don't know what the fuck Randy Orton's saying because real estate guy is cutting deals on his phone while Randy Orton's delivering a promo.
You're paying way too much attention to what's going on in the
I
background.
took a picture of him.
I know, I saw it.
You see that picture on Twitter I put of that fucking fan?
And then when I saw him on the show, I was like, oh, that's the guy. That's when Steve took that picture.
And he was so... Look at him. He just like... Why is this guy so not lit? And this guy is so perfectly lit. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, because there was a spotlight on Randy and he must have been just...
Look at this shot. It's Randy and his best friend.
I don't know.
If you're watching the YouTube version, I'm putting that shot up.
Philip Wilson.
So weird.
With Slater being the latest with Slater being the latest to call out Daniel Bryan, is it possible he gets one more match, or is this a swerve? That happened on Talking Smack. It must have, because I don't remember that happening on SmackDown. Slater calling out Daniel Bryan.
Oh, I didn't see that happening. That's not going to lead to anything.
Yeah, Bryan's not going to have another match.
That's not going to do anything, man.
Ben Mead. Why is it okay for The Miz to tell someone to quit and go to the Indies, but John Cena is despised for it? Because The Miz is a heel.
Yeah, exactly. Cena's despised for anything he says, basically.
Pretty much. Carlos Hackworth. Do you think WWE is starting to give Apollo Crews something to do? What storyline would you put it in? We talked about that earlier.
Yes, we did. Yeah. At length.
Yes. Robert Hay.
Hey.
Do you think Backlash is starting to look like a good card? And which match are you most looking forward to?
Miz Dolph Ziggler. Looking forward to that match.
AJ and Ambrose. I'm less sure now that, because initially I thought, okay, Ziggler will interfere in that match and make it a dusty finish. Mm. But now with Ziggler in the match with The Miz, it kind of takes him out of the equation.
I'm more certain that Ambrose is going to pick up win number 1, and we're going to see AJ Styles pick up world title.
That'd be great.
Unless they job AJ twice. He's strong enough. They can job him all over the place.
No,
people
after
still
picking up that win against Cena, they got plans for him.
Okay.
Brie. Who would be hurt most from a loss, since both are hot right now? Miz losing the IC belt or Ziggler losing again?
You know what would be hot, as much as I would not like to see it, because I want to see him win the world title at No Mercy, is if he lost at Backlash and won it on SmackDown. Mm-hmm. Make SmackDown mean something, dude. Mm-hmm. So what now?
Who would be hurt more by a loss, Miz or Dolph? Probably The Miz.
Who would be hurt most? Dolph, because that'd be 2 losses in a row.
But that's nothing new for him.
I know, but they want to make him. They want to make him bigger. They want to make him into something, and he can't keep on going down the same road he's always been on. If they're going to do that, The Miz just is coming off a win at SummerSlam. He's coming off a hot promo.
Well, I mean, they could keep.
He can come back from a win with a head full of steam. What can Dolph do?
If Dolph keeps losing, that can lead to storyline possibilities down the future too. We don't know what they have planned for him.
I say The Miz would hurt less from a loss.
The show off. Will Shane call Goldberg in to defeat Lesnar, or could it be Scott Steiner?
Scott Steiner, you fat bastard.
What do you think of Bray beating Brock first? I think it'll help him look strong, and he'll be the real face of fear. That would be true. He would actually lend some credence to his title that he gave himself.
I agree.
Jason Burleson, after the Cruiserweight Classic is done, will the title stay on NXT or move to a larger show? It's going to be on Raw.
It's going to be on Raw.
Yeah.
It's not on NXT right now. It just follows up NXT.
Yeah. Brady Ogden, besides Ember Moon, who do you think the next big star, the next big star in the women's division will be on NXT?
Nia Jax.
She's not on NXT anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry, NXT.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Billie Kay?
I guess so.
Seems to be pushing her. They seem to be pushing her.
Yeah. Andrew from Turnbuckle Titans. Hey, friendos.
Hey.
I wanted to know what video game character would be the best pro wrestler.
What a video game character would be the best pro wrestler?
I mean, Mike Hager.
He is a pro wrestler.
He was a pro wrestler.
So what would? I would say, I'd want to say, I want to see Trevor Phillips mixing it up with the Briscoes. Damn boys! Hey, you got your tickets yet to Ring of Honor? It's in Florida.
Will Fernandez.
Love the Briscoes.
If you could pick two wrestlers from any era to fight, who would they be? His is HBK against Rollins in an Iron Man match.
Oh boy, that's a good one. Fuck, that's a really good one. I'm gonna say
Macho Man against CM Punk.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna say Kevin Owens. This is another good brawler from back in the day.
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. Just keep running your mouth, son. That's the advice he gave Kevin Owens.
True.
Never stop running your mouth. What?
Ronan Cahill. Could Apollo Crews benefit from a heel turn where he doesn't talk, just beats people up like they've started doing with Carmella?
What? I think they need more for him because we already had Carmella. Kind of already had a character,
and we already have enough.
We're starting from scratch with Apollo Crews.
We already have enough squash matches.
Yeah.
Bailey Bearden. Did you guys see the Heath's Kids sign in the crowd?
Yeah, it was great.
Well, seeing how much the crowd is getting behind him, do you think there's a good chance that he and Rhino are actually going to win?
We have a video question that asks the same thing. So we'll just answer this first part of the question. Yes, we did see it, and yes, we thought it was funny.
Wyatt, would you like an NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown competition for a Survivor Series? Since Triple H helped KO, this could lead to a storyline. I
kind of don't want it to be revolving around Survivor Series because I always feel that's just forced.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of just the spirit of competition type thing, I think that could be fun for Survivor Series.
Yeah.
But I really wouldn't want that to be too involved with the Triple H thing. I want that to be its own, carry it out on its own.
Yeah. The Real Emil. If Balor isn't back, do you see Heath Slater winning the Royal Rumble?
I don't think that's going to happen.
Ever.
No.
Bland Yoshi. Daniel Bryan mentioned TNA on Talking Smack.
Ooh.
Is this a big deal? Will WWE ever recognize TNA as a competitor?
You know what's funny is that there have been very, very small references to TNA. First of all, in a joking manner on Edge and Christian show.
Yeah.
They haven't really referenced it on NXT. They all they say is these guys have history together.
Yeah. Especially talking about like Samoa Joe and Eric Young.
There is no need for the WWE to shy away because they talk New Japan, they talk Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
There's no reason for them to shy away from TNA. TNA will never. Nobody will ever. It's WWE and it's New Japan in the rest of the world, basically. You know, those are the two biggies, and that's it. And WWE will never be second to anybody ever again. It's kind of like when people say, well, Facebook might be the next MySpace. No, Facebook is far beyond that, and it's always going to be that thing that's always there.
Yeah. Ben.
With four
face teams in the semis for the SmackDown Live Tag Tournament, which team do you think goes heel, or will they all stay babyface? I can see the Usos turning.
I can as well, and we'll get to that in our video question.
Okay. Brian Peckinpah, any chance Jericho will ever get another title run? Will it be a strong one this time?
Every time I want to say no, Jericho pulls out wins. You know what I mean? Every time I'm like, oh, Jericho is going to lose. They pull out a win for him. I don't know. I'm not going to rule it out. Probably not, but I'm not going to rule it out.
Yeah. Carlos Hackworth. If AJ is a face that runs the place, does that make Kevin Owens the heel that made the deal?
Certainly looks like it.
Adrian Stroop. Hey, friendos.
Hello, friendo.
Since you have recently been interacting with peeps from other wrestling websites, do you have any plans for a crossover material?
We do have plans for at least one that's sort of solidified that we'll talk about at some point in the future.
Yeah.
And then we've talked internally about like ways to do that, but we have one solid on the books that we've agreed to. And yeah, we love all those guys. I mean, that's one of the big things at SummerSlam weekend is that we met a bunch of them, and they're all solid people. So I could definitely see a time in the future when we mix it up with a bunch of those guys.
Yeah. Mark Rosser. How awesome is it that almost all current WWE champs were part of other promotions in the last 5 years?
Very awesome. Very awesome.
Very awesome.
Yes.
Bronier Solano
Cubero.
If you were a pro wrestler, what would your theme song be? His would be Natural Born Killer by Avenged Sevenfold. P.S. Love the show. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. I think mine traditionally has always been, we've always both had traditionally one answer or the same answers for this. Mine would be Black Flag's Rise Above.
And mine...
Super Furry Animals.
Yeah, Super Furry Animals, Man Don't Give a Fuck.
Yeah.
Emil Larson.
You're not changing that?
I probably could do something else, but that's still good.
Rise above. Got to rise above.
Good. But see, like mine, I couldn't do in WWE. It'd be strictly for the indies.
Right, that's true.
The chorus
Yeah.
is the man. He don't give a fuck about anybody else. I think that's the chorus.
Yeah. I would use the Bullet Club's current theme.
Okay.
I would just be in the Bullet Club.
You'd just be in the Bullet Club. You replace Adam Cole.
Be in the.
Speaking of which, Emil Larson, who's your favorite heel in any wrestling promotion, and why is it Adam Cole?
Oh God. Okay, I need to educate myself on Mr. Cole much more. I just think it's funny, and I think you're the one who pointed this out. Whenever I see a picture of a fan with Adam Cole, it always looks like Adam Cole is the fan taking a picture with a superstar or with a wrestler.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Oh my God. He's so it's the Bullet Club. I think they're past their prime. Mm-hmm. I think you had Prince Devitt, Finn Balor, and Gallows Anderson, and I think a couple other guys. I don't know the history really. They all started it out of like something cool to do.
Yeah.
And that's when it was cool.
Yeah.
But now it's like half the Bullet Club guys don't even wear Bullet Club things.
Yeah.
Like Omega and the Bucks, they're in it for them. They're in it for the elite to sell their own merchandise.
Yeah.
Adam Cole seems very happy to be a member of the Bullet Club, kind of too much so. That kind of takes a shine off it. If somebody's just happy to be there, then it kind of takes a shine off it. He literally has an Adam Cole shirt that has it says Adam Cole in Bullet Club.
But in Bullet Club design.
Yeah. I don't know. They're all great wrestlers. They're all really good wrestlers.
Blake Healy. Who do you think is going to take the IC belt from The Miz?
It ain't going to be Dolph Ziggler.
Nope.
Once people start talking about their streaks, their day streaks, then they're going to have it for a little while.
Yeah.
I think Miz is going to have it a little while. But I guess the question is who's going to take it from him. I don't know. Baron Corbin wouldn't look good with any belt.
No. Except the hardcore title.
Yeah. You're right. He looks like the hardcore championship. He looks like that belt.
He does.
If you put it on him, you wouldn't even know it's on him because it just looks like his attire.
It'd be part of his pants.
Oh, that's great.
I don't know who'd beat the Miz.
I can't. Yeah, I don't know. I'll put it this way. I'm going to say this. My prediction: whoever beats the Miz for the IC title isn't on the SmackDown roster
I can't
yet.
think anybody on the roster that'll do it.
I think they're not on there yet. I think it's going to be a call up, a free agent signing, something like that.
Yeah. Josh Lazo. Do you think the Miz and Bryan beef leads to a Team Miz versus Team Bryan Survivor Series match?
I hope not.
No.
I think what we said at the Open, Bryan said, I don't like Survivor Series matches anyways. Get rid of the Survivor Series pay-per-view. There's never any stakes. It doesn't ever matter. 5-on-5, who cares?
There was stakes. Like the authority be stripped of power if they lost. They lost, and a month later they're back.
Oh, that was a really good one, though.
That was good.
Didn't Dolph win that?
Yeah.
God damn it, that was good.
Yeah. Greg P. Could it be possible for Baron Corbin's pants to get any tighter?
It's probably. I don't know. Shinsuke's got his dick flopping around.
I don't understand why Baron legitimately had a cog or a saw blade on his pants.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be within regulations.
I love it.
Kobe Rowling. Who's the one superstar team that you want to get over that's currently not? Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, exactly. I think they were wetting him last night. It's not good.
No.
And you can't put that on the crowd.
No.
If you don't give them a reason to care, they're going to start wetting.
Yep. Oscar.
What?
With New Japan and having the never openweight 6-man tag titles and Ring of Honor debuting.
That's right, Ring of Honor,
tag titles. Do you see WWE doing the same?
Okay, so hold on a second. 6 people per team? Is that what it is?
Or is it 3? I don't know.
Or is it 3? I think it's a 6-man. 6-man, really? It's not a 3-man? Hold on a second. This is how up I am on shit.
If it's 6-man, then no. If it's 3-man,
SmackDown couldn't even do that.
They'd have 2 teams.
Hold on a second. Titles. I gotta look this up really quick. News, because it was news just like yesterday. Introducing 6-man titles.
Wow,
a lot of people.
That is. So no, WWE's not gonna do it. They don't have the enough number of people to do it. They just don't have enough people.
They don't have enough people.
All right, video questions. Are you ready? First one from Nawazish.
All right, I'm on the shitter, but that doesn't matter. What matters is I would follow yours since the Tree Row days. I used to listen to Super More intro into your Tree Row thing every day. I used to have that on for the front page of my phone. I religiously used to listen to Tree Row. Anyway, I'm really happy. So you can imagine how happy I am that you guys have turned into a complete wrestling channel. It's freaking my web dream come true. Anyway, my question to you is, we've seen a lot of things happen with Heath Slater and Rhino. They're getting a huge push. They're getting, a lot of TV time. Renee Young came to their house. Slater's wife kind of looks like a porn star, but that doesn't matter. But my question to you is, do you think this is slating out for Heath Slater and Rhino win? And do you think if they do win against American Alpha, which is probably going to be the finals of the tag team tournament, do you think that will somehow lessen American Alpha's credibility to lose to a team that's been really freshly formed and they haven't really had a lot of time in the ring, they haven't really had a lot of chemistry to be shown in the ring? Do you think that would sort of stop American Alpha's push in its tracks? Do you think that will be the case? Anyway, that was my question. Thank you so much. I bumped it to $20 to get my ugly mug up here, and I hope this is completely worth it. Thanks, guys. See you soon.
I've given this a lot of thought. I don't think there's a chance in hell Slater and Rhino win them tag titles off the bat.
0.
American Alpha is going to be your inaugural champions.
Yes.
The only thing I could have thought of was the Usos going heel, being pissed off that they lost to Heath Slater and Rhino in the semis.
Yeah.
And then
no, in the semis it's Usos versus American Alpha.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, I looked at that fucking thing yesterday. Hold on, let's take a look.
It is. It's the Hype Brothers the Hype Bro against.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. Because when I looked at it, you're right. When I looked at it, I was like, oh, so it can't be the Usos and American Alpha. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry. So the only thing I think of is American Alpha going over them going heel, and them affecting the outcome of the match. I don't think that's as big. I think that they would prefer the bigger story is American Alpha having the belts off the bat, which I don't like anyways.
But no, they're like a 5% chance they win. Kid Corbin's got a question. Let's take a look.
Hey, friendos, Pat here. Obviously, Lita and Trish Stratus have one of the best, if not the best, women's rivalry in the business, in my opinion. What is your favorite women's feud that isn't theirs?
Okay, no. 6-man just means 3 men each.
Okay.
Because 6 people on each team is way too many.
Way too many.
I got to cut that part out because we look like assholes now.
Whatever. Kid Corbin.
Why do they call it a 6-man?
Doesn't make any sense. They're not called 4-man tag titles. Kid Corbin's question is fave women's feud that's not Trish Stratus, Lita.
Oh, that's easy. Bailey, Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Yeah, that's good.
That to me is my favorite of all time. That even goes over Lita Trish. I mean, I know they're big time, all time main eventers on Raw, first time of female blah 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 main event in Raw. But that being said, man,
Bailey, Sasha, yeah, I agree.
Bailey, Sasha.
Carlos Hackworth, he has a question.
On friendos, I got a couple questions for you. First, if you could rename any superstar's moves, who would it be? Mine would have to be Apollo Crews, and the name of his move would be Cruise Control. And another thing, if NXT was to have a mid-card title, what would the name of that title be?
An NXT mid-card title would be the NXT network title.
Yeah, I like that.
Because you have to defend it on the network. That was your idea originally.
Probably.
Yeah. Because it'd be like a TV title, but
on the network.
The modern day. Let's see here. Or they can bring the DDT Pro Heavy Metal belt over at NXT. That'd be good. If you had to rename anybody's finisher, what name don't you like? Sister Abigail's a great name. The End of Days is a good name.
I don't like the Dirty Deeds. I don't like that name.
Oh, I don't like that name either. So what do you call it?
What's something that would tie in to his lunatic fringe character?
It's a double-armed DDT, right?
Yeah.
I'd call it the double-armed Dean T.
There you go.
I didn't say I'd make it better.
No, you didn't.
Oh my God! He just delivered a double-armed Dean T.
That's hard to say.
That's the worst.
Wow, that's awful.
That's the worst. Double-armed Dean T.
That's terrible. Let's move on to the next question.
Okay.
From Luke.
Luke.
G'day, friendo Stephen Larson. How are we? Just want to ask your thoughts on Goldberg's return to the WWE. Personally, I don't want to see him with any involvement with Brock Lesnar because we've been there before. It brings up bad memories, and I don't think WWE wants everyone to remember that match because, you know, it was pretty terrible. But what I want to see out of Goldberg is perhaps exclusive to SmackDown, kind of similar to how Brock Lesnar's booked. You know, part-time marquee kind of guy. You know, comes in for a moment and goes back out. I think, you know, Goldberg can do that. You know, and just to bring that little extra something that I think SmackDown needs. One final thought: that look that Triple H gave Mick Foley on Monday Night Raw was history. A lot of great matches, a lot of great memories, a lot of great bloodbaths of the 1990s and the early 2000s. Anyway, all the best, keep up the good work, and too sweet.
So what do you think about Goldberg's potential return to WWE?
What do you think of that?
It's not against Lesnar.
What do you think of that mane of hair on Luke's head? Look at that. That's
Very
luscious.
Nice. Very nice.
That's beautiful. That's a beauty. That's my Australian accent right there.
We talked about this a bit on yesterday's show about Goldberg-Lesnar matchup and how it doesn't really make sense to us.
Right.
That we think if Goldberg comes back, it's to wrestle someone more like Triple H.
I like the idea of that though. SmackDown having their own part-time marquee guy.
Yeah.
I like that idea. And like at first when I thought I was like, Goldberg, I don't know. But then the more I chewed over it, I was like, I could maybe see that. I could see Goldberg being the big monster that he's gonna come out every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know, I could see that.
Yeah,
maybe.
All right, our last video question from Richie Watson.
Uh-oh.
Well, how do you do, friendos? First off, I want to talk about The Miz. When I hear his promos, I just instantly think, I just hear whinging. Everyone else is like, oh, that was cool. I just think it was whinging. And I kind of agree with Ziggler. I think The Miz does this because he wants to be famous. And there's two other people who I think who do this because they want to be famous. And that's Nikki Bella and Eva Marie. Because I think, to me, they are basically the Kim Kardashians of wrestling without a sex tape. This is my point. I don't care what you think, but that's just my point. Anyway, my question is, what TV show would you recast with WWE superstars past and present? Mine would be Game of Thrones. You know why. And I brought AJ Lee as Daenerys and Seth Rollins as Jon Snow. That's my question.
Good question, Richie.
Thanks, Richie.
All right,
the IWC loves Richie.
The TV show we're going to recast is Seinfeld.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, who's Jerry?
Well, first of all, Newman is Braun Strowman.
Okay.
Jerry, Uncle Leo is Milkman Millman.
Okay.
Jerry is, hold on. In my head, I can't get around Jerry being AJ Styles. I don't know why.
Okay, that's not bad.
He's kind of sarcastic.
Yeah. George. Bray Wyatt.
Kind of looks like him too.
Kramer
comes in unannounced, unexpected, a wild card. Who would that be? Kramer. Rusev. I like Rusev for Kramer.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't find any parallels.
I know. I'm trying to think about that too. Elaine.
Elaine would be.
Vince would be Frank Costanza.
That's like the only one so far that I really, really like.
Elaine.
Because she does that goofy dance, Nikki Bella.
Okay.
She does a goofy dance. Carmella does a goofy dance. I don't know. That segment fell flat. What TV show would you recast with wrestlers past and present?
Okay, let's do Arrested Development then.
Oh, man. That's too much. No, Seinfeld was good. I just can't think of any parallels, really.
I know.
Can't think of any parallels there.
No, I can't.
They got that new Netflix show, Glow, about the glamorous
Allison
ladies.
Brie's in it.
That's right. I saw that. That'll
be fun.
That'll be interesting.
All right, that's it. This doesn't kind of go out on a whimper.
It's gonna peter out. One day we're gonna find like a segment for the end of the show.
Yeah.
I was gonna do that trivia thing, but now I'm not really into it. Because you know what? As much as I love doing Kayfabe Corner, whenever you remind me that it's my week, I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta do a list. So I don't really want to do that every week. I don't want to think to myself.
Maybe it should just be, instead of doing a full list of trivia stuff, each week one of us just finds one story, and it's a simple yes or no. Simple yes or no. Just one thing.
What if we did like a straight up story time thing? We find each of us each week finds the most ridiculous story we can about a wrestler, and we just talk about it.
Okay.
And like it's like, oh, hold on a second.
So you don't want it to be a competition at all? No competition?
Not really. We have a great competition with Kayfabe Corner. Why try to recreate that? I don't know. Look, we'll figure it out at some point. I don't know. Anyways, how long have we been going so far?
A long time.
Fucking A. All right. Well, we got to get this thing up and going.
Yep.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. We appreciate all the support by hitting that download button, that subscribe button. And, of course, our lovely patrons out there, we want to say thank you very much. You can check that out at patreon.com/Stephen Larson. And until next time, we got a dirt sheet coming up on Friday. We're going to talk about the Kevin Owens thing.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens, right now, we're hearing rumors that Wrestling Observer is saying that Kevin Owens didn't know about the title win. Find out when he found out.
Yeah.
On Friday. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.